I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and I got a special guest with me today.
Hello, I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about spying on your partner's phone and social media. This is a really tough...
This is a tough question
Yes,
to do.
and we had quite a bit of a discussion leading up to filming the video.
Yes.
Because there's so many different aspects and components of doing that, right? Because what are you or should you be able to look at with your partner's social media, and what would be wrong? For example, if your partner is constantly liking other people's Facebook posts, maybe you've got a girlfriend that's constantly liking guys' pictures, that might trigger your insecurity, and you would see that maybe on your wall publicly. Yeah. But sometimes you have to do a bit more research and snooping to see what they're up to.
Snooping?
Yeah.
Well.
So this is a really difficult subject because it can be extremely tempting to look at somebody's social media, maybe open up their Facebook or their Instagram, or see what their text messages, who they're texting, what they're doing. Now, the bigger problem is the trust. Obviously, trust is not easy to have in a relationship, and I think it's it's almost fluid, right? Like, there are points where you trust somebody more, and then times where you trust them less. Now, is it because you're insecure, or are they doing things to make you insecure? So it's not an easy situation. So we're going to talk about this a little bit today, because this is something I see all the time.
I'm sure.
Well, I see, like, sometimes, I had a guy this week that, here's a perfect example. He was dating a girl. She lived long distance. He signed up for Tinder, which is a dating app. Mm-hmm. He didn't want to see these girls. He just liked matching with them and talking with them a little bit because he was lonely because his girlfriend was far away. Oh, okay. So he just was doing it for a little bit of attention, according to him, assuming he was telling me the truth, which he would no reason to lie to me, because it's not going to let me help him. So, when she comes home, he gets a Tinder message pop up on his screen, and the girlfriend's like, "Are you on Tinder?" Because that's I don't know if you don't know what Tinder is.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
I see some adolescents.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, she sees that he's on Tinder, and of course he lies. No, I'm not on Tinder. Then he comes clean.
That's step one to mess up.
Yeah. Then he comes clean and he says, "Yes, I am, but it's only because I was lonely. I didn't really see anybody." Relationship's over. She's done. She breaks up with him. She's furious. She's angry.
Yeah. Did it have to be sexually related somehow that you were lonely?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he didn't, according to him. And then I had another guy that I talked to today that he logged into his ex's Facebook account because he saw that she was talking to another guy. Actually, it was one of his good friends, and she was trying to literally dump him and get his best friend, which is really...
That's not nice.
No. And then he saw all the messages about how she was lying to everybody about their relationship, making him look like he was the bad guy. But how tempting would it be if your girlfriend breaks up with you and is now literally chasing after your best friend, and you have the password not to look? Okay. It's really hard not to.
Right.
Sometimes you're just feeling like, I got to get these answers. I need to know what I'm doing here. Is this should I fight for this, or should I walk away? I don't think there's an easy solution.
Well, I think verbal communication face-to-face is certainly one way to go. You sit down with somebody face-to-face and you say, "I have a feeling something's wrong here and I think we should talk about it."
Yes.
At least before I spy on you.
Obviously, ideally, it would be better to be upfront and to communicate.
It's always better to be upfront and to communicate. But I hear what you're saying. And I'm in the unusual position, because I'm older than most fossils, is that I remember before this stuff had even been thought of.
Yeah.
People had whole courtships, whole relationships over a lifetime. And the social media did not exist.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, in all reason, now we can talk to people all over the world in whatever way we want, whether it's sexual or just friendly, or we have a common interest, or so that you can be talking to any number of your people, from your church group to Tinder.
And there's so many different dating apps now.
Sure.
There's so much social media. The opportunity to cheat is so easy.
But you hear so much about cheating, and cheating on social media, or something similar to that. And one of the things that struck me recently was that J.Lo, there we have some initials.
Jennifer Lopez.
And A-Rod.
Alex Rodriguez.
I don't know why they go by initials, but apparently they enjoy this. That they started to date. Well, that's nice. I wish them well. However, A-Rod apparently has a bad reputation for cheating on the people he dates. So J.Lo demanded to be able to...
And cheating at baseball, too.
And cheating at baseball, too.
He's all around cheating.
So J.Lo demanded from him that she be able to look at his phone any time of the day upon her request, and that he couldn't do anything about it. Now, what really struck me was people respond to everything that's said about famous people. No one said anything about this. So it's totally commonly accepted, I think, that we're going to monitor or watch each other on social media, and that's the way to do it. Okay? I certainly think someone should have responded to that, but it is the accepted way to do business now. And people worry for huge reasons all of the time about cheating of one sort or another. And we'll do another session on cheating and some of the reasons for it. But it sounds like when you say that, and we had just done a gig on what does a healthy relationship look like. A healthy relationship has trust. And if you don't trust your partner, then inevitably the relationship is going to get in some kind of trouble.
Yeah.
So I think there are huge ethical issues and fairness issues, and how do you act like a mature adult in the midst of all this, and it's really tempting, and just how are we going to handle all this?
Yeah.
And Craig and I just together had a lively discussion.
Yeah. I don't think it's an easy solution.
No, it isn't.
Let's say this, Margaret. Let's say you say, okay, you just start dating somebody, and you both say, look, my phone's an open book for you, as long as yours is for me. Do you think that would be a fair agreement?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because there's nothing secretive going on there. And I decided long ago, and I made a poster even, if you have to keep it secret, don't do it. Or at least talk about it before you do. Because secret keeping and spying and stuff, that just doesn't work. But I did save some of the really great ones that I'd heard from people, which I'd like to share to you before we go on to the discussion.
Yeah.
All men or women will cheat if you stay with them long enough, so you really have to monitor their phones. Now, I think that's a thinking error, but maybe not. Any woman can be swept off her feet by a clever man. I have to keep her on notice that she better not do that, so I better question her every move, is what he meant, and check her social media all the time. Perhaps another thinking error. Oh, don't worry, that's nobody to worry about. I was in Glee Club with him in the 8th grade, and we just found each other again.
And he's filled with glee.
He's filled with glee, and still very musical. The guy who keeps calling me is my ex, but we're just friends now, so you don't need to be concerned about it.
Yeah. See, that's going to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And what do you do in that situation?
What do you do?
I mean, do you allow them to be friends with an ex who more than likely would be trying to get them back and trying to do some kind of manipulation?
What can you do to prevent it?
you can't really prevent it unless you say, you know, well, would you like me talking to my exes?
Oh, my 21 exes? All my exes live in Texas. Oh, that's a terrible joke, Margaret.
And I thought I was the one with the bad jokes
Yeah,
here.
well, this is one of my favorites. The guy from the bank has been calling me because he wants to know if we want a loan. Has the bank ever called you and asked if you wanted a loan? I've never had that experience. I called Susie to see if she wanted to try Tilly's new salon. They're both friends of mine. Okay. And if you say to someone, how come you don't trust your partner? A very common answer is, oh, I trust my partner. It's the other people out there I don't trust. To which I say, horse feathers. Because if your partner is a grown-up, then he or she makes decisions.
That reminds me of Jerry Springer.
Yes?
When there'd be a couple, and then like say the woman was cheating with another guy.
Yes.
The guy wants to fight the other guy.
Right.
He's not the one that cheated on you.
That's it. That's it exactly. It's as if your partner had no choice, and if somebody comes onto them or wants them, they're just going to go with it. So it is that you don't trust your partner. I don't care what whoever wants them does. They're able to say no, I would hope. So that's just some of my thoughts. And one of the thoughts is, if your partner has friends, that's a sign of health. You don't want somebody who doesn't have any friends.
Sure.
But, you know, it would be wonderful to say, I heard from Joe today. I haven't thought of him or heard of him since we were in the 8th grade glee club. It was really nice to hear from him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you share things with your partner, and that's where I say beware of secrecy.
Yeah. If you're upfront about it.
If it's innocent, it's innocent. That's fine.
But you know what, Margaret? The hard thing is that a lot of times it's not innocent.
I know it's not.
And not even necessarily the partner, but the other person has hidden agendas.
Yes, they may.
I could think of a guy I did a Skype with last week where he and his girlfriend had this guy friend that she worked with,
right.
And he, I guess, didn't have a lot of friends or whatever, so they'd always bring him on their outings and take him to do things. Well, she started getting a stronger bond with this other guy and winds up leaving him for this other guy.
So, certainly, but that was her decision.
Of course.
So that's it. So the contact wasn't the problem.
Well,
she made a decision.
Sure, but he felt very betrayed because this guy, this other friend, was supposed to be friends with him too, but so, his hidden agenda was trying to get with her the whole time.
But would his knowing how often they were talking have helped prevent any of that?
You know, it's maybe if somebody, maybe it's almost healthier to think, well, there is a very good possibility that this person is trying to date my partner.
Right.
And just if maybe both people are upfront about that.
Yeah, there you go. And you could say to your partner, of course, that I really think this guy is very interested in you. I don't know if you're aware of that, but there it is. But I think that direct communication and honesty is always the better policy. But I do see the realities.
Yeah, it's not an easy situation.
No,
it's not so cut and dry.
No, it isn't.
And so, let's say in a situation where, like this other guy I just mentioned, he's dating this girl and the girl's friends with this other guy. Now he's maybe seeing that he's texting her all the time, and he's walking by the phone and boop, he sees a message and he just decides to look down, and what do you know? The guy just said something a little bit flirty, a little bit inappropriate. Now what?
What do you do then? Do you take it to your partner?
That would be the better
I think it
decision.
would be the better decision. Right.
But how many of us wouldn't be tempted to sit there and just open it up and see what else messages are going on here?
Most of us would be. But would you take it to your partner then if there were more messages?
Well, I think it would be much better if you did.
Yeah, of course it would. And the other thing is, then you're secret keeping if you have that information and don't let your partner know you have it.
So it's a very difficult decision.
Yeah.
But, ideally, you want a relationship where you have a lot of trust.
Right.
And the more trust that you have, the better. And I think the more transparent you are.
I think the more transparent you are, the better. Absolutely.
Like, if I was dating somebody and they said, I want to look at your phone, I wouldn't like it, but I might say, okay, but
you could say you didn't like it and you find it intrusive. You could say that.
Yeah, but I would probably let them because I wasn't doing anything wrong.
But letting them or not letting them shouldn't be like a witch trial, you know?
I know. But, it depends. Like, there are a lot of things that would affect it. Like, had that one person done anything flirtatious or wrong in the past? Had they ever cheated in the past? Because now if you've cheated, they're going to be a lot more likely to be scared you're going to do it again.
Right.
So,
I think we should ask J-Lo and A-Rod how it's going.
I guess, well, that'll be in the news. We won't have to ask them. We'll see it.
But so there's trust issues on both sides. And, why are you checking my phone? If you don't trust me, why are we together?
Yeah.
Which is a valid question.
Obviously, you want to be somebody that you can trust and you feel safe with.
Yes.
And if you're not feeling safe, if you're feeling insecure, is it because you're insecure? Or is it because they're doing something that's making you feel insecure?
Well, or you could check in with your partner periodically, oh my God, and say, I feel like things are going okay. Do you? It's not all about me. I need to know how you feel. Are you comfortable? Are things going well for you? Is there something you think we should change?
It's a very difficult time, I think, based on how many changes and constant changes there are. With all these new apps, all this social media, all different types of messaging and text messaging and everything else to keep up. I don't think it's as simple as you do or you don't do it. I mean, ideally, you don't. You don't spy. You don't pick up their phone. But, obviously the more you trust them, the healthier the relationship probably is. And if you're really that insecure and it's going that poorly, then, it's probably just better to let them know how you're feeling and maybe just move on.
Or simply talk about it in the beginning. Because, the thing that struck me was with my friends J-Lo and A-Rod was that everyone assumed that was the norm, or at least it appeared that way. That, you exchange cell phones, or you check on each other's cell phones, or because he had a history, he was obligated to let her check his phone. Or maybe you say to somebody, if you're unhappy, I hope you'll tell me, instead of talking to 12 people on, whatever, Tinder.
Exactly.
But see, it really sounds to me like it's an issue that people have to talk about these days.
Yeah. And, I talk to a lot of people every week that admit to me, I look through their Facebook, I look through their email,
Sure.
I did this, I did that. I'm not going to beat you up. You know it was wrong.
Yeah.
It is wrong to do.
Yeah.
But I understand why you're doing it.
Sure.
I'm not telling you to do it. I don't think you should do it.
And who of us wouldn't be tempted?
Yeah, and you're going to feel guilty if you do it. Mm-hmm. So you got to realize, you're going to feel bad. You know that you're doing something wrong. You're doing something that you wouldn't want done to you.
And do you tolerate anxiety better or guilt? If you don't do it, you're going to be anxious. If you do it, you're going to be guilty. So pick your poison.
I think most people can tolerate guilt better than anxiety. if I had to put guess.
Yeah. My favorite dodge to the whole thing is, it's not my partner I don't trust. It's those other people out there. Mm-hmm. It's your partner. Let's be upfront with that.
Yeah. Well, your partner ultimately makes the decision to be with you and stay faithful with you. Yeah.
Or not. And the other thing that, we were saying earlier is, again, in a healthy relationship, it's not, I need you, I have to have you, I'll die without you. It's, I choose to be with you. I'd be okay if you weren't here. I like it better that you are and that you've chosen to be with me. But it's all about choice.
And that's what I'm always trying to help you guys see and get to a place where you're with somebody because you want to be with them, not because you need to be with them.
Right, exactly. That's the ideal. And
It's not easy to get there.
No, it's not easy to get there. And the whole social media thing has made relationships and dating much more difficult and complicated.
It sure has.
Yeah.
And you can't ignore it.
No, you can't. No.
It really
Oh,
has
no.
become a
Absolutely
huge part
not.
of our life.
It's a major part of every relationship. We had one case, I remember a while ago, where the people had never met, and yet they were in a very complicated relationship over the internet.
Yep.
With cheating, not cheating,
Mm-hmm.
looking, not looking, and they had never even met face to face.
Yep.
It's a different world.
It really is. And, at the end of the day, you're going to have to live with yourself and your decisions. And if you do something wrong, can you live with it? How are you going to feel if you do it? If you if you snoop, you're probably not going to feel too good about it. So
Especially if you get caught.
no, then you're really going to feel bad
You're really
about
not
it.
going to feel good about it.
Yeah, because that is a good point. Because if you do get caught,
Yeah.
there's a good chance that they won't forgive you, and they will
Right.
end the
You violated
relationship.
my privacy, you violated my trust, yeah, sure.
And so you always do have to consider that too.
And talk about it, talk about it, talk about it.
Yeah. So, I think it's a topic that'll probably come up again, but it's definitely
Many times, yeah.
something that we wanted you to think about and be aware of, because many of you guys that have been broken up with are probably doing everything you can to snoop on your ex's social media, and it's probably making you feel a lot worse.
And it's not just to be nosy, it's because you miss the person. It might make you happy to see them, it might make you happy to hear their voice, all those things.
And you're trying to find out if there's any information there that's going to help you get them back.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's overwhelming, and it's a lot to think about.
And good luck, we're here.
That's right. All right, so the big point is that if you're doing those things, that there's possibly one or two things going on,
Right.
you're insecure,
And don't think that you're good enough or charming enough to hold on to a partner.
or they're doing things to make you feel insecure and triggering that.
Yeah? And human beings have been known to accuse others of things they're doing,
Ah, yes.
just in case it wasn't complicated enough.
Uh-huh. You're doing this wrong. If you've ever been innocent and you've had somebody accuse you of cheating,
Yeah,
oftentimes
sure.
they might have been the one that was actually cheating.
Of course. There's also a level of commitment. I hear, particularly from young people, that, we've dated twice, and I should go over her cell phone every day and I want to know about every relationship she's ever had. Excuse me, are you married? Have you made a decision and a commitment to go steady? Otherwise, no.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that is a discussion that you have to have with
Yes.
somebody too.
Yes.
What are we?
Yeah.
You don't need to have it right away, but don't just assume
No.
you're in a committed relationship.
No, don't. No, it has to be spelled out.
That's right.
Yeah.
And both of you should want it. So
Right.
don't push somebody into wanting something.
Well, I thought we were in a committed relationship. Did we ever say those words? No.
Yeah, and I do see that a lot.
Oh, yes.
And people get very upset.
Yes.
Well, who was cheating? Was this cheating? The lines are very blurred.
Very blurred. Yeah.
If you communicate with your partner up front, then
Yep.
they won't be so blurred.
Right.
And I still have like 3 more cases in 2 seconds.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
All right.
All
So
right.
it's a lot to think about.
It's a lot to think about and it's a lot to deal with.
Complicated issue, but do your best to be upfront with your partners. I think transparency is a really good way to go.
Always.
And if you can do that in your relationships, then there's going to be a lot more trust, and I think the bond and the connection will be
Right.
stronger
It'll be much better.
when you feel safer with them.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
If you want to get my help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the option that works best for you. I do email coaching, Skype coaching, and if you got to get with me right away, emergency Skype coaching. And very, very soon, you will see that Margaret is an option to do Skypes with.
I will be an option. I'm excited. I'll be happy to talk with you.
So we will talk with you soon.